Admiral's log. The trial by fire of the Divine Broadside is complete. She was engaged by 2 heavy and 2 light cruisers. All ships succumbed to the ship's massive firepower in mere minutes. The rumors since the battle have been spectacular. Some claim that the Japanese Navy has sent an armed floating city into the Adriatic. Some say that the Austro-Hungarians are making wild claims about what they saw, and that it was just a new battlecruiser. Some even state that a thunderstorm was responsible for taking the Austro-Hungarian ships. I've decided not to rectify any of these wild rumors. This wild speculation will only help to keep the enemy, and any potential future enemies, guessing as to what exactly our navy is capable of. Any nation that finds itself on the wrong side of the firepower of the Divine Broadside will quickly learn exactly what Japan is capable of. Hey guys, still here and welcome to episode 36 of the Japanese campaign. We started in 1910, it's now 1933. I've been in office for a while, and peace has finally been signed. I'm not sure why the US is the one that signed the peace treaty with Austria-Hungary, but war reparations can be given to all members of the Winner Alliance, which includes me. So I'm now at peace with these guys, and I can apparently... Can I buy Serbia off of them? Yeah, let's do it. And they say no. Damn it. Also, my naval invasion here failed yet again. So they get to hold on to Croatia. Apparently the Soviets and the French haven't gotten the memo? No, they're fine. This is just like a remnant on the map, but I believe that this invasion will stop. Which is bad news for the Alliance, because they're at 95% advance. Given 1 or 2 more months, they probably would have pulled it off, and they includes me. As for the invasion of Galicia, not that much. Now, this means that Austria-Hungary, as we knew it, no longer exists, because both Austria and Hungary have been conquered. This doesn't exactly change a whole lot on the map, because Austria-Hungary wasn't exactly a force to be reckoned with, but let's just say their economy is about, well, a little over half the size of Spain right now. Somehow they still have economic growth, and their navy is 1 active light cruiser. So they're still repairing 23 and building 14 more ships. I don't know how they have 1 light cruiser and 2 task forces, but I guess if you just market it right, you can make the enemy believe anything. They have 15,000 tons of naval power. By contrast, I have 1.3 million tons, and the US should be approaching, 5.5 million tons. So I'm going to cancel my alliance with the US, and I'm going to try and provoke the United States, because that sounds like a fantastic plan. Now, let's say that they eventually will take the bait. In such an eventuality, I'm going to have to defend this place really, really, really well, because Hamilton, the port on the Bermuda situation here, could be quite useful. If for no other reason than just to mine the place and make the United States sail some battleships in there. Now, again, I have no way of knowing if this is actually going to work. The United States has another 140 ships on back order, so they still got a lot of ships. And what I really want to know is, how good are these ships? Are they as good as they say? I don't know. So we're going to fast forward a couple of months, but first I'm going to have to pull my ships back, because I'm spending 339 million a month, more than I'm actually getting in. This is a pretty sizable task force. You know what? We're going to send everybody home, and I'm going to do a whole bunch of refits and get the fleet back up to the most modern standards that I have. I'm also going to start replacing all the older ships that I have, making sure that I have all the ships, including radar now. It's going to be a pretty big enterprise, but by the end of it, I'm going to have the most modern navy in the world. As an in-between, I cancelled my alliance with the US. The government follows my instincts, And I get a -100 relation with the nations belonging to the alliance. I don't know why people are so pissed. I just said I don't want to be in this alliance anymore, and immediately I lose 100 in relationship with these nations? That seems like a bit much. Look at that. It isn't even true. I lost the relationship with the United States. And maybe the Brits. But that's it. Anyway, this does free me up to start increasing tensions with the United States. I'm not sure who they're allied with and which way these allies are going to swing in the case that we clash. Because if you look at the United States, they have a perfect relationship with France, with the Soviets, with Italy. So do I. I was part of this block of nations. Where these guys are going to go next, I don't know. Am I going to find myself at war with everybody? Or are they going to follow me into a war with the US? It would be very, very interesting if that's exactly what they decide to do. Okay, fleet management time. What classes do I currently have? What classes do I still want to continue to retain? The Tsurugi/Sanosawas are going to be replaced, all of them, by the Aso class. This is a 1931 design heavy cruiser that takes less time to build and has more firepower than these ships. So I'm going to delete the design of these ships because I don't need them anymore. This also means that if I see those ships, I'll start to decommission them. The Chiyodas from 1920s have been replaced by the Yaeyama, so I'm also going to replace and delete the Yeyodas. The Wakabas from 1917 are old and at this point mostly decommissioned. We got the Miyuki class, that's the new DD. I'm probably going to build an extra DD because I now have even better ships and better hulls. So the base Sanosawa, the base Tsurugi. The Gojira is my new ship of the line, but Senyo and Haruna are outdated. These ships can still pack a punch, but I'll not be building any new ones. The Kaio from 1924, same story. Shimane, delete. The old Kaio, the old Nigitsu class from 1910. None of these ships I still need. The Shimane refit from 1927 is going to be deleted, and same as Shimane from 1928. So I'm really trying to streamline what type of ships I still have in service and what ships I don't need anymore, which should make managing the fleet a whole lot easier. So basically, it's going to come down to having 1 or 2 Divine Broadsides, a couple of Gojiras, and some Yamashiros, a fleet of Aso and Yaeyamas escorted by Miyukis, and potentially a follow-up ship. So I only need to do refits of these ships, start building more of them, and decommission the old ones. Now, this is going to probably not even be that much work, so let's get to work. I'm going to go from small to big, refitting ships, and making sure that they are all up to par. Starting with the Destroyer class. These guys are already displacing quite a lot. And if I install radar, they go slightly over. But I might be able to do away with the RDF. What I want to try and maintain is a good recon rating. If I push this back to advanced, that recon rating drops quite a lot. Diesel 1, unfortunately, cannot be upgraded any further. So I'm going to have to save some weight somewhere else, and I generally don't know really where. Beyond removing speed from the equation. If I push the whole thing off the ship, I'm getting a 348 recon rating, which is not great, and the ship is still too heavy. So if I take the ship... Bloody hell, I'm only doing 33 knots? Oh, sorry, 34? That is not a lot. What if I just replace the whole thing? What would that give me if I go for the newer Destroyer version? Because I believe I either get access to Destroyer 3 now, or I will very, very quickly. In which case, the Destroyer 3 is much, much, much preferred, because it has a flat hull, as opposed to these sort of... I'm not really sure what you want to call them, indentations on the ship. These platforms that stick up on the most inconvenient spots on the ship. I checked, and yes, I am getting a new destroyer hull next month. So I'm going to skip over the DDs and go right to the CLs. I don't believe that the Yamas, being from 1930s, need a whole lot of work, but getting them a radar system would give them an even greater asset in doing their job, which is reconnaissance. And their recon rating is already really, really good. We're looking at a recon rating on these boats of 224. And if I push... Oh. If I push a radar onto that, it's going to probably go to 300 and something. 879? Holy shit. Okay. That's really, really useful. If I slow them down some... Yeah, this is that weird exploity thing. If I slow them down some, it's not going to help much. If I reduce some of their weight by changing the range, not really going to do that much either. I mean, 14,000 kilometers is not good, considering the conflict that I'm most likely going to be facing against the US. So this means I can't exactly afford to do anything like that. Now the turboelectric drive... Wait. It changed to 41 million. Energy efficiency is 58. And with this it's 48. 78. That's pretty good. But the ship's still overweight by 700 tons. They are extremely heavily armored. If I change the main deck armor, that suddenly fixes the issue. So I'm going to turn these things back into their... I think turboelectric drive is what they had. Yeah. And then just remove a bunch of deck armor. Go to 3-inch. And get the foredeck to 2-inch and the aft deck to 2-inch. There we go. So now we got 78% engine efficiency, meaning that these things are really quite potent. They got autoloaders already. And beyond these new innovations, I don't think I have a whole lot to give them. So that's the Yama. It's going to take 1 month to refit. That's really nice. When it comes to the Alsa class, they're basically brand new. The only thing they didn't have is a radar. So if I can give them that, then that would already boost their efficacy by quite a bit. Their recon rating, by contrast, is 223, so we're probably going to reach 700s, 800. However, that thing is quite heavy. So again, I'm going to have to save some weight somewhere, which is probably going to come out of the deck armor. Make it 2 inches of deck armor. There. Only 61% engine efficiency, which is a bit low. But then again, I'm using diesels, and I simply don't have any better funnels. The super funnel 3 and 4 don't fit on this secondary tower. So 1 month to refit the ASO class. That means we have the Yama and the ASO refit. The Gojiras are next in displacement. These are the, I believe as of yet, untested new battle cruisers. And they can definitely use some work. Because I apparently have the guns, which are now Mark IV, and that doesn't fit anymore. So you gotta move them an inch, and then they suddenly fit. Not there, though. Okay. I don't like this, but it shouldn't cause me that many issues when it comes to refitting time. There, we're good. Okay, so displacement is probably going to be a problem. Boom. A lot. Lots and lots of problems. When reload is concerned, I'm going to go from 63 seconds to 59 seconds. That's 4 seconds off. I like that. That's a good upgrade. I'm going to stick with that. The problem is, where am I going to find all of this weight? Deck armor comes to mind, but isn't enough. Inner belt is barely going to do it. Superstructure back to 3 inches of armor. And I'm going to give you 13.5 inches of main belt, and that should do you. Okay, so this ship, Gojira, still displacing 30,000 tons, but now with a radar and an engine efficiency of 176%. Then, the battleship Yamashiro. I haven't seen these guys fight yet, And when it comes to their armament, they're packing a fairly low amount of firepower. For 57, let's say 58,000 tons, they're not really that well armed with these 12-inchers. But with these 12-inchers and high explosive shells, they can do a substantial amount of damage. As for main guns, I still don't have any better 18s or 17s, but I'm considering putting 16s on, although I would have to find some weight. Well, I would have to save some weight somewhere else, because this thing is way too heavy. Way too heavy. It's not very comfortable, this ship. I don't think I'd build these things again. I mean, the firepower that they have for the hull is basically a small battlecruiser. This firepower. By contrast, the battlecruiser that I just refit, the Gojira, has more firepower. So that's a little weird. There, anti-torp 2. It's not an ideal way to fit this, but it does work. And if I really want to get the better turrets, that's not gonna do it. If I turn these things down like the 30 knots, no, doesn't do it. Okay, so there we are, I guess. I want to see how these things perform in combat before I pass judgment and scrap them. But I'll probably not build a new one. I believe I'm still working on one, but I probably won't be refitting that one again. I will be refitting the Divine Broadside. This thing, when it fired in the previous episode, did a load of work. And I love it. So I want to use that, and I want to give them a Generation 1 radar, which is going to give them a recon rating of a whole 42. Why so bad? Well, it's a massive ship. It gets detected very easily. It is, however, pretty awful at detecting things herself. So that's why you're finding that this thing is pretty bad at reconning anything. As for these turrets, they reload in 84 seconds, but an autoloader is available, pushing them down to 78 seconds, so that's a nice upgrade. The problem, however, is that the ship is now 5,000 tons overweight. That is a lot, which potentially means I'd have to sacrifice turrets, which of course is entirely unacceptable. Then where? Because this, well, it helps a bit. But I still need 3,000 tons. Their deck armor might... Yeah, it's their deck armor that's going to have to come through. There. Now, I can add RDF, which would help with gun aiming speed, which is nice, because this thing is all about the guns. So, now they have the Mark IV 13-inch, and they got the Mark III 16-inch. It's going to take 1 month to refit, and I'm really going to have to start making almost a schedule for all the refits, considering how many ships I need to refit. It's the whole fleet, except for the ship that I won't be using anymore. Except for those. Those are simply going to get scrapped, provided, of course, that I have enough ships to replace them. And I think I do. The ships that I'm going to be upgrading are far more advanced than the battle cruisers and potentially some of the old battleships that I still had floating around. The DDs certainly are, especially when next month I'm going to get that new destroyer hull. So let's skip to there and wait for that hull to come up. As I was comfortably trying to refit the fleet, the Germans decided that insulting me was a good idea, and of course the whole row of dominoes falls over yet again. Which means that my reputation with the French has been improved, even though it was already maxed out. I hope that my reputation with the Americans isn't going up, because I kind of want to go to war with them. With the Germans it crashes. With the Germans it crashes some more. The Germans and the Spanish start to fight. So yeah, I'm minus 12, minus 16, minus 13. I'm now at, Germany, China. There we go. Which means that my reputation with the US has been boosted. I don't like that. No, you're not getting a Gojira. Go beg somebody else for a ship. So, here we are, yet again, fighting the Germans, which are pushing apparently 18 light cruisers out for a spin. And the only ship that I have here is the outdated Chitose of the Haruna class. Not necessarily the best ship for the job, but she'll get it done with 8 13-inch guns. They're also pushing 6 battleships, and they're going to the Adriatic for some unknown reason. Now, I still have this port over here, and it's pretty heavily crewed, well, used by submarines. So with these submarines, I should be able to deal some damage. I'm going to push a whole bunch of submarines over to this port, because I don't really need them lying around here. And this is a location where they can actually make themselves useful. As for Gibraltar, I also have a battlecruiser there, the Kamoy. It's an older class, which means it's likely going to get scrapped. But I was scrapping ships because I was running out of money. That's no longer the case, because I'm suddenly plus 77. I'm also way over when it comes to shipbuilding cap. Probably because some ships are repairing, and some ships are being refit. See, this old Mikaho from 1929. I'm sorry, but I don't need you anymore. So, yeah, she's from 1916. Jesus, she's really old. Other ships that I'm repairing? 7 months for the Sanazawa? I don't think so. Sorted by repair. Yeah, the repair is not that bad. This is a Tsurugi. Wait, a Tsurugi base? Wow, from 1925. Now, of course, you could make the case that it's a really bad idea to start scrapping your ships when you've just been declared war on, but, you know, it's the Germans. What are we gonna do? Lose? I don't think so. Gojira, yes. Mikaho, 1925, scrap. Gojira, Haruna, scrap. Kaio, 1924, scrap. Chiyoda, scrap. Tsurugi, scrap. See, now we're getting somewhere. This also frees up the shipyard to start refitting some of my ships. This is 150,000 tons, so ideally, I can refit the Divine Broadside. Shit, she's not here yet. Okay, fine. I'll just refit the Yamashiros. Which is probably going to push... No, it's not even pushing me over just yet. So I can still add a couple more ships, such as maybe these 2 heavy cruisers. There. Anyway, I was waiting for my destroyer tech to come up, and I now have. New heavy cruiser tech is going to give me the experimental cruiser. I guess it's a new battle cruiser, but it's going to take a while. I also don't know if I'll actually be able to use it because of the tonnage and, sorry, because of the control stations. But I'm also working on this naval comm so I can get bigger task forces out there. Well, that was the plan, but I'm just getting more recon and more ASW effectiveness. Not what I hoped for, but having better ASW systems is definitely valuable, because more often than not have I had just battleships sent back to the shipyard for repair, or even I have lost a battle cruiser to one submarine. Anyway, we are now here today, gathered here today for the new destroyer class. Oh, let me show you that. That's something else that the devs still need to attend to. It's just lazy. It's just another one of these things going, yep, the game's definitely not finished yet. Because if you look at the tooltip and the tech tree, it's just a copy. It's just a copy. It's just a placeholder text. I really hope that they, instead of doing patching with fixing... Well, I mean, there's also bugs that need to be fixed, but it's just polishing of the game. Anyway. This is what I'm talking about. DDs up to 2,400 tons. Modern Hull 3 destroyer available. Okay. Destroyers up to 600 tons. Same tooltip. DD up to 2,400. You get Destroyer 1 and Destroyer 3. But I already had Destroyer 3. And I definitely already had Destroyer 1. So... like, Modern Destroyer 1 should have shown up a while ago. Because I can get Modern Destroyer 2 there. But apparently Modern Destroyer 1 can only be unlocked at 2,600 tons. So just... get it sorted. It's such a mess. New destroyer time. Modern DD3. I thought I could get these things up to 2,600 tons. What the f... Okay. It's even worse than I thought. These guys, turboelectric engines, because faster acceleration and deceleration. Aux 2, best steering, unbalanced rudder, shaft 3. They should be capable of accelerating very, very quickly. Of course, when given engine efficiency, because right now it's going to be 0.3 knots. If you throw on a funnel, it is 7 knots per second. Which, with a top speed of 33 knots, means that they can pretty much accelerate to their top speed in 5 seconds. I don't know about your car, but let's say your car does 150 kph. That means that your car can accelerate to 150 in 5 seconds. I'm not sure if your car can do it, and I very much doubt that this ship from 1933 can do it. Anyway, the wonders of Dreadnoughts. What is the job of this ship? The job of this ship is to scout, escort, and prevent ships from getting hit by submarines and depth charges. Mines. Should they be capable of laying mines? Ideally, yes, but it might be difficult fitting that onto the ship. Let's put them on forced boilers. 6.6 knots acceleration per second. Really quick. I'll give you a rangefinder, I'll give you acoustics, and I'll give you a radio? Will I give you a radio? Yeah, it's fine. ASW goes to 23, 24. Yeah, definitely. I want to have as much ASW as I can. Guns-wise, we got the 5-inch Mark IV. Or the 4-inch Mark IV. I'm thinking 4-inch guns are fine. They're good enough. Which... in this ship, I might engage a destroyer, in which case the 4-inch guns might be better. I might engage a light cruiser or a heavy cruiser, in which case the 5-inch guns might be better. Let's go 4-inch, or just make it like a 4.5. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make this a 4.5. No. Not quite that. 4.5. Okay, we do need a secondary tower. It's going to be the large barbette tower because it probably has the best base accuracy, 10.5. And it gets progressively worse from there. Okay, so push this one forward, put another one there, put another one there, and there. Although, I could put a torpedo launcher on there. But with the depth charges here, I mean, you're not going to launch right out the stern. But you could still make it quite annoying for them to deal with you. Reload's 10 seconds. Oof, fitting everything on this ship's going to be tricky. 35 knots, please. It's going to be pretty tricky indeed. Because I want better loading systems. I want ideally like 20-inch torpedoes, 21s. And I'm 200 tons over. Okay. That barely moves the needle. But I can go for a medium funnel. Still not quite. TNT. 2 powder. I'm thinking just full incendiary shells. Because that should be sufficient. They reload now in 7.5 seconds, which is good. The torpedo launchers can be downsized. But it doesn't add that much. Or rather, it doesn't save that much weight. Propulsion, electric. Gotta make these things as sneaky as they can be. If I decide not to drop mines, then I'm pretty good. Then it fits. Now, the whole thing is a bit bow heavy. So if I can push some stuff back, that'd be great. What if I put it like this? Put the engine over there and like put another gun here. It's a weird spot for a gun, but swapping these around is probably not going to be very helpful. Because then, well, no, it kind of works. Hold on, you're not centered. Yeah, this is pretty decent. Can I push this slide? No, I cannot push this slightly farther back. Let's inch this forward, inch this forward. Is this searchlight going to get replaced if I put a really small gun on it? No. Okay. So this is going to be the new standard ship of the fleet. Ideally, I'd power it through certain knots, but yeah, don't want to fit. Lowering beam and draft, once again. I think it boosts your recon rating a bit, because you're more difficult to spot yourself, but... You know. I'm almost building a destroyer out of 3,000 tons. That's a big boy. Not doing that. Draft to 0. Ship is overweight. Where am I going to find 5 tons? Probably there, but my ASW capacity goes down if I do that. Wait. Never mind. Reduce range? 20,000 tons. Yeah, 20,000 kilometers is fine. At this point I have enough supply ports that I can just send these ships there, get resupplied, move on. Should be fine. Okay, let's put some armor on. Like half an inch of superstructure armor. A bit more main belt. If I can just get half an inch everywhere, that should be sufficient. And ideally... Do I want longer barrels? 7.5. If I go to like 5%. 8.3 seconds. But we're more accurate. No, it's fine. Okay, that's the new ship. Designated Nenohi. Okay. So I'm going to be building a couple of those. And I'm going to already start phasing out those other generation destroyers that I didn't build that long ago. But, well, their performance with the 5-inch guns against